Hey, Steve Jameson again from Carriage House Door, the finishing department. Today I just wanted to make this short video to go over some of the importance of properly sanding the surface of the door prior to applying the stain. So primarily there are four reasons that sanding is really important. Firstly is because you want to get out any minor flaws, scratches, and little dings or whatever that aren't removed in the milling process. Secondly is during the milling process, the process called mill glaze can happen, and it can create an absorption problem with the stain where it doesn't always absorb evenly. Thirdly is you want to be able to create a proper surface for adhesion. The sanding, what it does is opens up the pores of the wood and it allows the stain to penetrate more deeply. And finally, if a surface isn't sanded properly and evenly across all the surface of the door, it can create an issue where you're going to get splotchiness, right? You're going to get some areas where the pores are opened up more, some areas where the pores are opened up less, and you'll have kind of a blotchy texture to the door. So I do have a couple of examples of what that can look like here. So this top one here, you can see this was right out of the mill, right? No sanding at all. You can see there's some little nicks and flaws in it. Overall, I mean, the color's not bad. There are some highs and lows. I can say that a lot of times you'll get a lot more color variation than this. This was a pretty clean board out of the mill. But so this one here was just sanded lightly by hand after some moisture was on it. So for example, if your door is sitting on the job site and something gets spilled on it, or it rains or whatever prior to getting stain on there, and there's moisture in any way or any kind of contaminant on the door, you can see what will happen when you sand it and you don't sand it well enough. You just do a quick once over by hand. You're not going to get out all of that stuff, even if it's not visible to the eye on the surface of the wood. You're not going to get all of that out just by sanding by hand. So this bottom one, you can see it was sanded. Our process here, everything sanded on the floor as it's being built prior to coming to the stain booth. Once it's in the stain booth, we go all the way back to the beginning with sanding and resand again using 120 grit, 150 grit, and 180 grit on the cedar specifically. And you can see we have a pretty smooth and even uniform finish. You can also see that the pores were opened more deeply, and therefore you have a darker color than you do on these other two. So again, just another example of that. Kind of same order here. This one here was just straight out of the mill. Again, another pretty clean board. You can see there is some discoloration here. This is lighter than everything else around it. This one was just hand sanded, pretty clean, but not quite as even, some light spots. This one here was fully sanded again, 120, 150, 180, and you can see how much darker it is than the other ones, showing that the pores were more open and that the stain absorbed more deeply. So again, just wanted to make that quick video to kind of go over our sanding process and how important it is for the surface to be completely sanded and properly sanded prior to the stain being applied. Again, if you have any questions, if you have a door that you've worked on that's been stained in the past that has issues and you want me to take a look, feel free to send pictures. I'm always willing to be open and consulting and helping you solve your problems, and hopefully winning your business by providing a superior quality product.